Hey, good morning, Drew. How are you today?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Thanks for the time. I just wanted to kind of pick your brain on the three transfer wide receiver pickups. How do you think you and those guys were able to maximize your offseason together, your preseason together, and what's next in terms of getting into game action? Where can you build from here?
Yeah, honestly, we kind of been building into it throughout the summer as far as getting ready for games. I think it really started back in the winter though, when we first added D Ross and Kyron and getting them acclimated to our process and our system. And I think, they did a great job of coming in and working really hard and earning everybody's respect. They have the respect of the whole offense, player wise, coaches wise, and same with the defense. So they did a great job of just coming in and putting their head down and working. And then also working with the guys that we have here right now, like between Liam and the guys we brought in from the freshman class, and also the guys that were coming back from last year in that room. They've done a great job of building relationships with them as well. So, and then when we got Trevor in the summer, he did a great job of just putting his head down like Kyron and D-Ross and earning everybody's respect right away. Obviously, he had a little bit of a shorter window to kind of learn everything and go through the process of actually playing football in our systems. But he did a great job, and I think really the past month and a half, like a week and a half before fall camp, and then throughout fall camp, we've kind of been building into that game mode mindset. We're always talking to each other. They're always asking me questions on routes, what I'm seeing, and how they want me to run routes, and as with them as well. Like, what are they thinking on certain routes? If they get a certain coverage, so I can anticipate it and throw them to a spot. And I think we've done a great job of that, not just with those three guys, but really collectively with between the tight ends and receivers. It's a really good group, and I'm really excited to be playing with them this year.
Rich Garcella.
Good morning, Drew. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. Drew, can you describe what Khalil Dinkins is expected to mean to your offense and describe what the appreciation for him is inside Lash?
Yeah, everybody has a very high regard and a high respect level for Khalil. He does a great job of, putting his head down and working in the weight room, and all that sort of stuff. And, as far as what he's going to provide for us on the field, he's going to have a bigger role than what he had last year. And I think last year he had an important role to our team, but, not many outsiders really looked at it like that. Like, he did a great job last year in the run game for us and pass pro, and he's going to continue to do that this year, but he'll be a big threat in our pass game as well. And really excited about him taking the next step in his development because he's had a great offseason this last year. And same with all those tight ends. It's a really good group, very diverse group in terms of age and just like the type of players they are. So it's a really exciting group, not only for this year but for years to come.
Audrey Snyder.
Hey Drew, thanks for your time this morning. What can you tell us about Jackson Smolik and Ethan Grunkemeyer, the guys that are working behind you? What's maybe impressed you about them and kind of the steps they've taken this preseason?
Yeah, I think both of them have taken the next step in their development. Obviously, within the whole quarterback room, I think everybody's taken the next step. And with those two specifically, they've done a great job of, mastering the offense. I think they're operating the offense at a really high level right now and a better level than they were coming into camp. And I think that's a credit to Danny and Trace and Coach K and Coach Franklin of, keep pushing them and developing them and putting them in challenging spots. And then also those two guys specifically responding to adversity, maybe if a play didn't go right or that sort of thing, wrong decision, bad footwork, whatever the case is, and flushing that and moving it on to the next to play. And I think those two guys did a great job of that. So I'm really excited to, continue to watch them and grow and play because they're both really talented football players.
Daniel Gallen.
Appreciate your time this morning, Drew. Last year we talked a lot about your leadership over the course of the season. What does it mean to you to be named the captain again? And then what do you want to build on from last year in that role?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a great honor to be named captain of this team. And it's one that I don't take lightly. And I think for me, it's about pushing the team as best as I can, both physically and mentally, whether that's be like getting on guys or, just picking guys up if they have a bad play. Because, for us to go where we want to go, there's going to be adversity, there's going to be bad plays, bad series, but it's all about how you would respond to that. And I think we've done a great job of that throughout camp. And I think, between me and the other captains and also the guys that are leaders that maybe aren't named captains, but we have many guys that can fit into that captain role. I think of like guys up front on offense like Drew Shelton and Vanga, and even Kyron and Liam and Nick and Fat. Like those guys are all leaders for us, and they've done a great job. And I think we're going to keep building on it and demand perfection from everybody, and just keep working towards that goal.
Joe Smeltzer.
Hey Drew, thanks for the time. So at Big Ten Media Days in Vegas, you talked pretty highly about Kobe Howard. Since fall camp has started and now concluded, which ways have you seen him grow, and what is it about him that makes you confident that he's a guy that could help this team right away as a true freshman?
Yeah, I think with him, he's a playmaker out in space. Like he'll go up and make contested catches, and I think where he grew, like every freshman that we have on our team between offense and defense, they just grew with the playbook. Like they know what to do. They knew the philosophy behind everything. They just weren't going out there and memorizing what they were doing. They knew what they were doing. They knew how to do it and why they were doing certain things, whether that be in the run game or pass game. So I'm really excited about Kobe. He's a playmaker out in space. He'll make guys miss in space if you get him the ball, and he can also be a vertical threat for us too. But there's a lot of young guys in that room in general that are going to be really good for us this year. I think of guys like Tyseer Denmark as well. I think he took the next step in his development. I'm really excited to see those two guys and see their progression throughout this year and see what kind of role they can have for us on Saturdays.
Joel Haas.
Hey Drew, thanks for the time. I just wanted to follow up on Khalil Dinkins. I think a lot of people know him as a great blocker. I just wanted to ask kind of what you've seen from him as a pass catcher. What's his skill set like, and maybe how have you seen him improve in that area this offseason?
Yeah, I think he's really improved in his body control and just in contested catches in general. Like he had a couple yesterday that I think he made last year, but he's making more at a more consistent rate this year. And I think people don't realize how athletic he is, like between his size and strength and also his speed. Like he can be a vertical threat for us in the pass game. So it's going to be a really key part of our offense, getting him involved in the game plan, and same with those other tight ends. But I'm really excited to see the type of role he'll have because I know he can go up and make one-on-one catches in contested areas and also, separate from defenders when he gets the ball in space as well.
Avery Hill.
Hey Drew, thanks for your time. Um, James Franklin's kind of talked about how Penn State has seven guys who are really starters on the offensive line. Especially compared to your skill guys. What type of difference does that make in terms of chemistry when you have different guys rotate in, and how are you feeling with that, through practice?
Yeah, I mean, it makes a huge difference, especially up front, because there's a lot of communication that goes up front, and I don't like it's hard for me to describe even how much communication really goes on. And all five guys that are out there at one time are always on a string. Coach Trout does a great job of getting them prepared and giving them challenging looks and having them work through it. But also having like Coach Franklin said, seven guys that can really start for us up front is huge because you need depth at that position, and also that just makes us more diverse as an offense, and from a personnel standpoint that we can get into that we know we have seven or eight guys that we can trust to go out there and get the job done on the offensive line front, and we can play in 6 and 7 O-line packages and that sort of thing, and really do a lot of things to challenge defenses and stress them out. So I think we take a great pride in that, in offense in general, as being as diverse and stressful as possible.
Travis Johnson.
Hey, Drew, just curious, after working in the winter, the off-season training camp, at what point do you know and how do you know that you've improved, you're better at something?
I mean, I think, for me was reflecting like last winter, reflecting on last season and the areas I wanted to get better at. And then, I knew I took steps after spring ball because I had specific goals going into spring ball that I wanted to work on, and I felt like I got better at that. And then same thing throughout the summer and this fall camp. Like I knew there were areas that I wanted to improve on, and I was very intentional on improving on them. And I think the coaching staff between the strength staff and our offensive coaches put us in positions to go out and make progress in those areas. So, it's not about talking about what I want to get better at. It's going out and doing it physically and getting a lot of reps and, building the library of things that you want to have feel for, like the when it feels good, how to get back into that, or when maybe something feels off, how to correct it. So I think they do a great job of putting us in those situations. And, for me, I've always known when I make progress because I'm not thinking about it anymore. I just go out and play, and it happens because of how much I've repped it.
I have two more. Mark Wogenrich.
Hey, Drew, sorry about that. I feel compelled to ask about your new fashion career. What was the origin story of the American, excuse me, that the American Eagle campaign? How'd you get involved? What was that experience like?
Yeah, they that whole crew reached out to my agency, and it was an opportunity that I wanted to take advantage of. And it was a great experience. I had a great time meeting all the people involved in that, and really getting to see the behind the scenes sort of thing. And it's really cool to be a part of a project like that, and I'm really excited for all the things that it will bring for sure. But it was definitely a blessing to be a part of that, and I'm very grateful to Travis Kelsey and that whole crew for inviting me out there to be a part of that.
Last question, Tyler Donahue.
Thanks, Paul. And thanks again, Drew. Wanted to circle back to the offensive line. TJ Shanahan is a guy that James Franklin referred to as one of those 7 starters earlier this week. We know the least about him because he's new to the program. What's your feedback on TJ since he showed up from Texas A&M, and what has he done to put himself in a spot to play a bunch of football for you guys?
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, he's an extremely hard worker, and he's also a great locker room guy. Like a lot of guys gravitate to him in the locker room because of the type of, he has a big personality. He can relate to a lot of guys, and a lot of guys enjoy being around him because of his personality. So he does a great job with all that. But then when it comes to football, like he's going to be extremely physical out on the field. Like I think that was one of the first things I noticed when he got here in spring ball, how physical he was, not only in the run game because that's what you need up front, but also in the pass game. There, he plays extremely physical. He's nimble, he's fast, and really excited about him because he's gotten a lot better since he's gotten here too. And I think for him to be here and he'll play a big role for us, it's going to be really good for his development and his future as well.